everybody, Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
I'm glad you remembered your name.
Almost forgot.
I almost forgot mine.
Well, we had problems with you last week,
I
and that's
know,
what I was
I know.
thinking.
I've been forgetting things. It's like the blackouts. They are so fun. I'm telling you.
Yeah. What did I tell you about watching your words?
Oh, correct. They're whiteouts. Anyway, it's the Expansions News podcast for the very last days of 2014.
Wow.
It's just about New Year's Eve.
It is. I'm so excited for 2015.
I'm excited about it too, but it's going to be a roller coaster ride.
Well, I'm used to a roller coaster ride, but I know there are going to be a lot of amazing things coming out.
I used to be afraid of roller coasters when I was little. I'm still afraid of them.
I just don't like them. There's a difference between being afraid and not liking them.
I was both.
I don't like them.
Yeah, I just don't want them. Yeah, but living with me is like a roller coaster ride
Maybe
for
that's
you.
why.
That's why it's so exciting. Yeah, you never know what the twists and turns are going to be, or if it's going to get stuck and you have to jump off. Okay, back to the news. Well, it's not pleasant news, and this is literally hot off the presses, because just this morning there was yet another airliner vanish.
Oh my.
And guess what?
What?
It was owned by a Malaysian company. You cannot make this up.
Well, no, we can't, because somebody's already writing the script, obviously.
Well, here we are, the last days of the year, and yet another airliner, an AirAsia flight with 162 people traveling between Surabaya, Indonesia, and Singapore, one of my places I used to work, vanished over the Java Sea, and they've been searching, but they have suspended the search because it's dark there right now. And they will resume this Monday morning, which is probably when you guys will be watching this.
But they don't talk about why?
Well,
I'm
getting there.
Oh.
Try to calm yourself down.
Well, it's pretty.
Now,
it's something to get excited about. I mean,
yes,
here we have.
It was flight number 8501, and it was a very short flight from Surabaya to Singapore. It's only like an hour and a half or something. And it was an early morning flight. It was going to land in an hour when it vanished. The pilot, now this is the interesting thing, the pilot had asked for a change in his direction, and he was going to turn left and go higher to 34,000 feet. There was no distress signal from the plane, but there was bad weather in the area. Now this is where I have to interject something, because I, as you know, have a lot of clients in the airline industry. Some are pilots, some are flight attendants, some work in the control area. But every single one of them has told me, and pilots have told me, and one of my own sons learned how to be a pilot. But they said, these days, modern airliners are designed to fly through bad weather, turbulence. You cannot crash in turbulence. It may be uncomfortable. Might feel scary, but does not crash the plane, and neither does lightning storms or thunderstorms. So that's not a reason why that happened. Plus, this area of Southeast Asia at this time of year is known for its severe weather, and these pilots are trained to fly in that kind of weather, and before it takes off, they know what's in their path. So,
and it was a short flight.
And it was a relatively short flight. So something is very odd here.
And did you tell us what kind of plane it is?
Well, it was an Airbus 320-200, which is a European made. The co-pilot was French, and there were 16 children and an infant on board. Most of the passengers were Indonesian, but they were from also South Korea, Singapore, and Malaysia. And there was one report that mentioned there might have been a British person on board. That's not confirmed. The plane was flying at 32,000 feet, and AirAsia has never lost a plane before. And the control towers in the area said the pilot had asked for a very strange change in his heading.
They don't understand why?
Well, they said they thought it because of bad weather, but they don't understand why he changed what he asked for, why he asked for it. And of course, this comes after Malaysia Airlines 370 vanished, Flight 17 Malaysia Airlines was shut down. There are unconfirmed reports of wreckage, but that's not confirmed. But there was the same for the 370.
We've been through this every time we turn around.
So again, planes don't crash from turbulence or from storms, not these days. So something else is going on. And in the related story to that, going back to the Flight 17 that was shot down over Ukraine this past summer. Remember I told you a couple of weeks ago, people, about the control tower people said that the Ukrainian Air Force actually shot it down. Well, a Ukrainian military worker claims that one of his country's fighter jets shot down MH17 because he said they confused the passenger plane for a Russian Air Force. And you know, there's that story that Putin was flying in the area and that his plane has the same kind of signal or markings as that one. They say it was shot down by the Air Force. This Ukrainian military worker told a Moscow newspaper that the jet was carrying air-to-air missiles. He said that the Air Force pilots returned without the missiles, and that the pilot emerged from the cockpit looking very frightened. Well, if he just did that. Now, the Russian investigative committee gave him a lie detector test, and they said he was truthful. So it does corroborate the prior information that I had reported to you a couple of weeks ago. Now, we're still in Asia now, going more east. North Korea. You know, it's one of my favorite countries. I love North Korea.
Who was that basketball player that spent all the time there?
Oh, tall guy.
Not LeBron.
No.
Rodman. Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
Okay, yeah.
A voice came to me. It was God told me. Thank you, God. I appreciate that. God told me Dennis Rodman was there.
That was the one.
And isn't it interesting? He's kind of kept quiet about that.
Well, yeah, because he had to go set everything up first.
But you know why he's quiet? Guess what the North Koreans said?
What?
North Koreans called President Obama. Hold on, I'm trying to speak in Korean and I have to translate. President Barack Obama, they called him a monkey.
I have that story.
You do?
I
You
do.
stole my story?
No, you stole my story. I think you were peeking at my notes again.
And they blame. Anyway, I'll go further. It says Obama. Should I say it in Korean accent, or is that politically incorrect?
It's politically
It's so much more funny with Korean. No. All right. Obama always goes reckless in words and deeds like a monkey in a tropical forest. Is that your story?
Kind of, but I have a different take on it, which I will tell you
now here's the
later.
thing. Okay, but it wasn't the first time North Korea has used insults against Obama and other U.S. officials. For example, earlier this year, North Korea called U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry a wolf with a hideous lantern jaw. Well, it's the truth. They tell the truth. I tell you everything. And he look like a man.
Stop it.
He look like a man, they
Stop it.
said. You know, have to do that.
Stop it. I knew you were going to get it, even though I told you not to.
I don't care what you know. It's the roller coaster ride. You know it, Missy. Hold on to, but get your seatbelt on. It's going to make it worse. They also said South Korean President Park Geun-hye is a prostitute.
Is that a man or a woman?
I think it's a woman, actually. Yes, and in May, the North Korea news agency said Obama has the shape of a monkey. Maybe they were looking at Michelle. I don't know. Just saying. Going on, more North Korea news. Now this is the interesting part. And North Korea was not behind the Sony hack, according to multiple security experts who discredit the FBI findings and said that an insider named Lena, don't you have a friend named Lena?
My lips are sealed.
And that she, or he, maybe it's a he, is responsible. There's a company called Norse, which determined that they believe a woman named Lena is responsible for the hack, and that has been an inside job. This company is owned by a man named Kurt Stamberger. That's an interesting German name. Kurt Stamberger, who's the senior vice president with cybersecurity from Norse. And he says, he told CBS News, "We are very confident that this was not an attack masterminded by North Korea, and that insiders were key to the implementation of one of the most devastating attacks in history." Now, the thing is, How would North Korea know what the emails say in there? See, so I believe him. And it gets worse. The New York Times revealed that computational linguists at Taya Global, I don't know what that is, actually broke down the imperfect English being used in the messages by the hacker, which seemed to suggest a Russian citizen was pinning the group's information. They're always blaming my peeps. They're always blaming my peeps. I'm very upset about this. Now, but of course, Russia also said that they support North Korea, and although they did not call President Obama a monkey. Now, another Hollywood movie, we know that because of that the movie, the interview was, and then they streamed it anyway, and they showed it. But now another movie has been banned. It's called Exodus, Gods and Kings, which was banned by Egypt, and now I also heard was banned by United Arab Emirates and Morocco.
And did they say why?
Yeah, calm your little self down, hold on to the roller coaster thing. The Ministry of Culture banned the film for historical inaccuracies. The Egyptian cultural minister, Jabir Asfour, slammed the film as Zionist. Well, that's a word they use all the time, isn't
Right.
it? And you know what else he said? Now, this is going to destroy history, which I have another destruction of history after this.
You do?
The Egyptian said, there is physical evidence that shows the pyramids outside of Giza were built by workers who were treated well and paid. So what happened to the story in the Bible?
Well, I thought they rolled them down logs and
Oh, right.
floated them down
We
rivers.
still can't. We can't even do it now. So how did those Egyptians do it? And I went to. I was with you. We went to
Yes.
Yeah. Was that you?
That was me.
We went to the quarries up on the Nile, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's where they took the stones." Like really? Because that's like you couldn't bring it on a barge and then drag it.
They didn't have barges. They had like, little logs.
No, but
to
they said
float
they
things
floated
on.
them down,
Yes, that
and they
didn't happen.
put oil and water on the
No.
sand and pushed it. Like seriously.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, unbelievable. But here's another historical biblical information that's coming to an end, people. The birth of Christ may be the most famous Bible story, yes, of all. And of course, the nativity scenes show that Jesus was born in a stable because there was no room at the inn. You know that story.
Mm-hmm.
But evangelical scholar Reverend Ian Paul says the entire story may be based on a misreading of the New Testament and a mistranslation of the Greek, and that Jesus was not in fact born in a stable. That means there's danger to the manger. I waited all day to say that. I'm sorry. There's danger to the manger.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, it said that Jesus wasn't born in a stable, and curiously, the New Testament hardly even hints at that anyway. He says the Greek word kataluma, usually translated as inn, was in fact used for a reception room in a private house. The same term is used to describe the upper room where Jesus and his disciples ate the Last Supper. We know he didn't eat the Last Supper in the manger, right?
No.
No. But it also says it was the custom in those days that required the people who were coming for the census, to require them to stay with relatives and not with strangers. So in that context, the kataluma word, where he stayed, must not have been an inn, but a guest room in a house of a family where Joseph and Mary were staying.
And they must have been related.
Exactly, and it said they could very well have been full with other relatives who had arrived before them.
Interesting.
So Jesus would not have been born in a stable, but in another part of the house.
I thought there was a different story you were going to tell. I thought you were going to talk about the Discovery Channel is going to have a documentary about the Bosnian pyramids, and it sounds like they're going to say that they're real. You sent me the article.
Okay, no more wine for you.
You sent me
before
the
podcast.
article.
I did?
You did.
Well, I think that was for you to use.
No, you just
Oh,
asked.
so wait a second. So you steal my stories, and the stories I sent to you, you don't use? Is that what you're
No,
telling
you didn't.
me?
You just wanted to know if I had received that information.
Well, do you know what it said? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, it said that the Discovery Channel is going to be putting on a documentary about the Bosnian pyramids. It's actually favorable, as favorable as they're going to be, because they kind of bring up the question, is it or isn't it, but it's more leaning toward is it and showing that they are, and showing the scientific evidence.
But didn't Dr. Osmanagic tell us that they did that once before and then they...
No, that wasn't Discovery.
No,
that was National Geographic.
Oh, no.
This is Discovery.
All right. And then...
So I just wanted to tell people to look for that, and we both posted it on our Facebook pages.
Okay.
So it's there.
All right. Well, I just have another...
But that's a history-breaking thing.
I have a follow-up story about Bill Cosby.
Okay, is this a history-breaking thing?
It's news from an insider who I know personally.
Oh my.
I'm not going to say who it is.
You're not?
No, I'm not. But this person
Was it Bill
said,
Cosby's wife?
No.
You sure?
Camille, no. This person was in the fashion industry back in the 80s, at least for a bit of time. And this person said that Cosby had a very bad reputation even back then.
Really?
And that the reason these women didn't come forward was because in those days, in the fashion and show business world, all the up-and-coming models or actresses had no money to speak of, and Cosby was a powerful man who could have ruined them. So
that
they
makes
kept
sense.
quiet. And this person even heard that one insider, from an insider, that Lisa Bonet, who was on the Cosby Show, was one of the daughters, actually, and she left the show abruptly and no one knew why, that she too might eventually share her story about how she was somehow abused by Cosby.
What a shame.
But also what this person told me is that apparently in Hollywood in those days there was a sleazy Dr. Feelgoods, like he was a doctor that he'd do anything.
That's a nickname, in other words, not his
Yeah,
real name,
no.
not like Jonathan Goodluck.
No. That's the president of Nigeria. But apparently the sleazy doctor gave Bill Cosby 2,000 pills to drug women.
2,000?
2,000.
That's going to drug a lot of women.
Yeah, but so my point is, what could any man do with 2,000 pills?
No, that's a loaded question.
You know, I mean, but seriously, and rape so many women, and no one has added 2,000. 40 years later, they start coming out, like 15 or 20.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because this is kind of in line with what I'm going to be talking about, but obviously he was set up to fall.
Well, then I also heard this morning that he and his lawyer, Bill Cosby, are actually digging up dirt on these women to prove that they're liars.
No, I don't think they're... I mean, the damage is done. You know, once everybody starts throwing dirt, they start questioning...
Well, it actually said his silence is actually helping him legally. That's what I heard.
What can he say?
And of course, the LA County prosecutor, they declined to prosecute him.
Really?
There's no evidence.
Now, isn't he... I know we talked about this. Isn't he like 77 years old or something?
Almost 78, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to take a look at the numbers and also the fact that a long time ago, you know, if a black man even looked at a white woman, they were lynched.
Well, especially in the South.
That's right. And remember, I've been talking a lot of stories about rape and all those
you know
things
what
that are
happens
coming
today,
up.
even.
But the point being is, to me it sounds like he was set up. Remember, the global handler set these people up for a long time. Now he's older, now they no longer need him. Now he's going to be part of what I'm going to be talking about.
And yes, it may be very true that he had a bad reputation and, you know, maybe he went to parties and things, but I don't know about, you know, the 2,000 pills. And
No, of course we don't know that, but I think it's part of the bad press to bring him down. And I think are you done with your story?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because at least actually it's a very good segue into mine.
That's why I did it.
Oh yes, I know that. Because it has, my stories really were revolving on racism, all the things that are happening down in Ferguson, Missouri, dividing the people. And so again, here's an icon who was loved, and think about what I said, you know, way back when, a black man just had a, you know, looked like he maybe was thinking while he was looking out the window of a white woman and he would get lynched. And so now here we have a man, a black man who rose to fame during a time when the black people were not, you know, really revered, so to speak, or appreciated. And now they're going to bring him down for the same thing, that they're trying to install this rape culture. That's my feeling. And then of course North Korea, whose country is the size of my fingernail.
Not really, it's a bigger.
Not much bigger than that.
It's a little bigger than your fingernail.
Not a whole lot bigger. If you look on a map, it's about the size of my fingernail. On a map.
Okay.
So, and here now they're making racist comments against the Obamas, supposedly. Now this one also, this follows all of this. about a People magazine article about, this is called Michelle Obama had a racist experience at Alexandria Target back in 2011.
Are they first saying it now?
Well, I don't know if they talked about it before, but what's interesting.
First of all, what the hell was she doing in Target?
Well, because she was showing she was a normal person.
Oh, right.
She was showing she was a normal person. So she says that in a 2011 trip to Alexandria, she says herself, this, I'm going to quote from her. She says, I tell this story, I mean, even as the First Lady during this wonderfully publicized trip I took to Target, not highly disguised, the only person who came up to me in the store was a woman who asked me to help her take something off a shelf. Because she didn't see me as the First Lady, she saw me as someone who could help her. These kinds of things happen in life, so it isn't anything new, unquote. Okay, for starters.
First of all, yeah.
Where was security, right? If she was in a Target store, you know they were surrounded by Secret Service people. She wasn't out just wandering alone by herself.
And the second thing is, if you're in Target and you don't expect to see the president's wife there, so you don't expect to think that's who she is.
No, beyond that, she had security. They're not going to let a random woman come up to her and start talking to her without knowing who that woman was. So either this thing never happened because it was 2011, who can prove it, or it was the plant.
Find a woman that said it.
Right. Well, they'll do that if you want to. I mean, they can materialize any kind of witnesses. But where was her security? So the headline of the story is Obama's How We Deal with Our Racist Experiences. And then it goes on to say about Michelle Obama, she is 5'11". So, of course, that's not unusual if she's a male.
If she is the First Lady.
Yeah, well, lady of what?
Or not a lady.
So, anyway, but I thought that was interesting. It follows on the racist. And then she goes on to tell how President Obama has been asked at a dinner when he was wearing a tux to get coffee.
Maybe he was near the machine.
And then the president tells the magazine, there's no black male my age who's a professional who hasn't come out of a restaurant and is waiting for their car and somebody didn't hand them their car keys.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Right. Now, I'm going to say this to our viewers. I know we have a lot of black viewers out there, and of this age, did it ever happen to you? Let us know, because it's ridiculous in my opinion.
People come up to me in the store sometimes and ask me for help.
I was also going to say that I can be in a store with my coat and a purse and a card, and people will come up and ask me if I work there. I've had that happen.
Well, you look like you work there.
Yeah. So, and I don't consider that racist. Anyway, and it says the magazine billed the interview, which took place last week, as one that included encounters with racial prejudice. So they're bringing this race thing up again.
First of all, he's not even black, okay?
Well,
he's half white.
Well, and we don't even know what he is. And then there was Rush Limbaugh, who always steps in on these kind of things. And he says, Idris Elba should not be James Bond. Because he is the wrong hue. He said, I know it's racist to probably even point this out. So the word racism, racist, I mean, now again, bring this up.
It's not racist. It's like, would you hire an Asian person to play George Washington in a movie? It doesn't match.
No, but the point...
It's not racism. It's just, that's the person, how they looked.
Well, and the point being is, though, but they're using that term racist, racism now. They're putting that out there to stir the pot. They're not trying to quell things down. They're stirring the pot. And it's continuing to boil. And it will continue for quite a while, in my opinion, until they get something going. They're falsifying what's really going on out there. And now, what about Ebola?
No, thank you. I've had some this morning.
Yeah, the Ebola is like history. But now we have a new tick-borne bourbon virus that's deadly and unlike anything previously seen in the U.S. So we don't have Ebola now. We have a tick-borne virus called Ebola. Me doing it. Bourbon virus.
Bourbon, like the drink bourbon?
Yes, it's named after Bourbon County, Kansas. And apparently it seems to be transmitted through ticks. And of course, there was a Kansas farmer's mysterious death this summer. So they've named it the bourbon virus. And now...
Well, that's racist against ticks,
yes, I think so too.
If I was a tick, I'd be upset.
Yeah, we're going to have to start a campaign and a petition. Anyway, apparently similar viruses have been previously identified in Eastern Europe, Africa, and Asia, but never in the Western Hemisphere. So next thing you know, they're going to have a vaccine for us, I'm sure.
Of course. Well, since the Ebola thing didn't go over too well, now they have to find something else.
Right, and then it has symptoms, which could be a fever, loss of appetite, muscle aches, a general feeling of malaise. Now that's
like every day of my life.
Flu, cold, depression, everything else that we talk about. Okay, but most similar tick-borne illnesses are treated with antibiotics. This disease is transmitted by a virus, won't respond to medication, so everybody should be very, very afraid.
You see, if you get a tick, you just put some vodka on the tick, it comes right out.
Yeah. And also castor oil.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. Okay, now this I did not know. Maybe you know. Did you know that gay men are banned from giving blood donations?
Yeah, that's old news.
Well, see, I didn't know that. That's new news to me. Anyway, so now they're revising the policy because apparently if men have sex with other men and they can't give blood, now they're saying if they have abstained from sexual contact with another man for 12 months, they can give blood. Now, this is my question. Who's monitoring the men?
Who's going to know they tell the truth?
Right. None of it makes sense to me. And so, what about lesbians? I don't talk about them not being able to give blood.
I don't think they're as diseased.
Well, I don't know. Who takes statistics? Who would know? And then what about bi people? And transgender people? I mean, to me, this is ridiculous. Why?
You need to calm down again.
But it's just ridiculous. And then it talks about organ donations, because if they're, apparently gay men are banned from organ donations as well. Tissue. And so now, per FDA guidelines, men who have had sex with other men in the last 5 years are among those currently ineligible to donate tissue and cells. So on the back of our driver's license, it says if you're an organ donator or not.
It does?
It does. Hopefully yours says no.
I don't even look at it.
Well, you're supposed to say no. But anyway.
Nobody wants my organs.
But the point is, you know, what happens, God forbid, something happens to somebody. How do they know if they had sex with somebody in the last 5 years? See, I mean, this is crazy. Because usually you don't harvest organs unless you're dead. So who's going to tell them?
Unless you're walking through the northern part of Africa and they kidnap you and cut your kidneys.
Yeah, but then they still don't know if you haven't done that for 5 years. And nobody knows. I mean, it's ridiculous to me. And then I just wanted to talk about, well, it says it in the U.S., it says there's a dire need for organ donors. An average of 21 people die every day waiting for an organ.
Why don't they clone the organs?
Well, they will eventually. And they probably already are. But I mean, it goes into, should you donate organs? And I tell people no. Because first of all, you want to make sure you're dead. And second of all, parts of you do live on in other people, hold your consciousness.
Well, that's true. It has the frequency in it.
And we have read and reported here on our podcast news that people, you know, have gotten organ donations and all of a sudden, you know, they have a taste for, let's say, hamburgers. They never wanted hamburgers before.
Or they have a memory of the other person's life and that kind of
all kinds of things happen. So, you know, I personally recommend against organ donations. That's something you have to decide, obviously, for yourself. But I'm just saying these rules are ridiculous, and why are they bringing this out into the public, and why are they saying it's going to be changed? Because who's going to be following the rules anyway? They're stupid rules, sorry.
I agree.
Okay, then I have my last story about Angelina Jolie, who happens to be a person that I watch because of all the weird things that she's a public icon for.
Are you envious of her lips?
No. No, I do not want lips like that. Anyway, she has a new film out called Unbroken.
Are you envious of her husband?
No. That's, again, a staged event, and he's gay as well, or bi.
Really?
Well, she's bi, so therefore it goes that he's bi, and then they're collecting children from the world like, you know,
that's true.
You would collect rocks, except they're children.
Except rocks, you don't have to feed them.
Well, that was, maybe with some rocks you do. Maybe you eat them, like you're already a couple and they eat, what is it, radiation stuff. Anyway, so she has her film, Unbroken Promises.
Oh, bad reviews.
Apparently she caught chicken pox, which I don't believe.
Oh, poor Jolie.
And remember, she has a daughter named Knox, doesn't she? K-N-O-X.
She didn't tell me the names of her children.
Well, they list them all. I'm pretty sure she has a daughter named Knox. I'll ask the God again. Does she have a child named Knox? Oh, God doesn't know.
God said no. He doesn't know. Yeah.
Anyway. So she sent her family in her place to LA to the screening because she supposedly was sick. So she had chicken pox. Maybe she caught it from Knox.
No, I'll translate that story. She just didn't want to be in public after the emails about her were revealed. She didn't want to have to discuss them.
What were the emails that were revealed?
That she was a two-bit talentless actress and all that the Sony email said.
Everybody knows that stuff. Anyway, so apparently the people were in uproar over her 8-year-old daughter, Shiloh, which I have reported on dozens of times, because I told you they're raising and grooming these people to fulfill specific roles. So anyway, she showed up dressed like her 2 older brothers in tuxedo.
The girl.
The girl, 8-year-old girl. And so anyway, the author of this article praised Angelina for letting Shiloh be Shiloh, because the author says maybe Shiloh wants to be a boy. Oh. Maybe she admires her brothers so much that she wants to dress like them, or maybe she just likes black and white and sharp suits, because 8-year-olds have those kind of
Or maybe it's just a publicity stunt.
And so this author says the tide is turning. I'll quote, Brangelina is helping fashion and gender identification forward by refusing to embrace traditional gendered dress. Kudos to them and props to Shiloh for looking adorable.
Okay, someone's kissing their butt.
Well, and the point again is that there's a reason. This is like Family Icon 101. You know, study this family because this is what they're putting forward for the masses. It's just incredible. And those are my stories.
Well, so then we need to talk about the future.
Well, speaking of the future, our prophecy pay-per-view webinar that's up. So we have actually a lot of people signed up to watch that. So that went very well. We have a few more webinars that we're developing for January, February. Watch the website and please join our list. We do have a mailing list, so that will keep you informed as well. Go to Facebook, like our page. We're up to almost 3,500. We only have like 100 and 200,000 left to go.
No, a million.
A million left to go. What did we decide last week? We wanted a million.
We wanted a billion.
A billion. Okay, we have a few left. So invite your friends and like our page.
I think Kim Jong-un actually is a friend on there.
Of course he is. Everybody's. They're spying on us. We know that. They're astral projecting into our lives and reading our minds. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the January class. I think we're down to maybe just, if we're lucky, 2 or 3 people we can squeeze in, because we do have a...
Yeah, it's getting packed with that.
So if you're interested or thinking about it, stop thinking and act.
I hope I don't get chicken pox and have to send one of our kids in a tuxedo to replace me.
Well, just rename the child Knox, and then everything will be fine. Don't worry.
We could dress up Natasha in the tuxedo.
And she could teach the class. Because a lot of dogs do those kind of things.
That's true.
Days, you know. We
yeah.
can't tell the difference anyway between a male and a female, a
No,
dog
you
and
meant
a cat,
you
an
can't tell the
animal
difference
and
between me and a dog. That's what you meant to say, isn't it?
Well, now that you've figured it out. The only thing is Natasha can't handle that mankini the way you can.
She's always naked.
Oh, don't tell her. It would disturb her, frighten her. All right, so January class is almost filled. Then February, I understand you're going to be traveling again.
Yes.
On the road again to...
Not on the road, in the air.
Well,
which
make
is
sure.
kind of scary.
I was going to say, don't go on a Malaysian...
Not going on any
no
Asian
Malaysian
airliners. No.
Anyway, so you will be in the Czech Republic, in Prague.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. And you were waiting to tell that joke too? Did you plan that joke?
No, it just like happened.
Wow, that's amazing.
God put it in my head.
Yeah. And then you'll be in...
Poland and Austria.
Yeah. And you had a great crowd for that last time. I think over 200 people. So
A lot, yeah. And they all want me back.
Yeah.
I said, no sausage, no stewie.
I won't even comment on that.
I know,
one.
but I'm
That
sure
was
the
bad.
audience will.
That was very bad.
And I'm still waiting to hear from Japan. I just got an email from them today, actually.
Yeah. Was it the volcano Japan, the island Japan?
No, it was the princess. She said, you come now.
Okay, then we have in April.
The Free Your Mind
Conference
in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Don't say that too fast.
No, and if you have, that's not even funny. If you have, you got me all flustered.
Good.
When you go to buy your ticket, if you put in
yeah.
the coupon code expansions, you get $20 off.
That's right.
And then we have, of course, our event, which we have every spring on health and healing. This particular one is called Addicted to Addictions, Get Hooked on Health Instead. And speaking of which, in January, my blog is going to be on health and healing, and my affirmations blog on rejuvenation.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if you're interested in those topics, which most people are after the first of the year, you've got the holidays behind you, be sure and sign up for a membership so you can participate, because we do a lot of healing work.
And finally, I can announce that on Christmas Day, just like the interview was released, so was the Montauk Chronicles movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, maybe one day you'll get to see it.
And maybe. I haven't seen it yet.
No.
I am the star.
You are?
I am the star. I've heard rumors of an Academy Award, which I might have chicken pox that day. I don't know.
But now we know we can send Shiloh in your place.
Yes.
Or Natasha, dressed like you.
Probably
I think we'll be able to
Natasha.
tell the difference.
Yeah.
Maybe Natasha. Maybe you're right.
Or maybe Kim Jong-un, he come.
Yeah, I don't think he'll dress like
You know,
Natasha.
because he looked like a man.
He would not look good in a mankini, I'm sorry.
Oh no, oh no. Why did you even go there? Now it's in my head. Oh.
All right, do we have anything else?
No, I think
Well, we
that's,
kind of told a little bit about our August seminar in the last podcast, but we're going to hang on to that
it's a
one.
ways to go.
So I'm not going to tell too many more details because that's going to be a good one too. All of our events are good. What can I say? So anyway, don't just sit around and think about it. Don't let 2015 pass you by.
And Happy New Year to all of you.
Yes, and we appreciate your support through the last years. It's been a wild roller coaster
It sure
ride, as
has.
Stewart has said, but you've hung in there for us. We appreciate everything you've done for us. We appreciate you passing the word of hyperspace oversoul work. We appreciate what you're doing for yourself because the change of the world really only begins within. Change yourself, change the world, be the change.
And so, until next year, bye for now.
Goodbye.